your girl Tessa here live at CIS26 in Saint Lucia. We're sitting down with Michael from Kroll right now. Hi, Michael. How are you?
Hi, Tessa. I'm great. This has been a great conference so far. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. We're pushing through. So let's first talk about you. How did you get into this industry?
So, like many in the due diligence space as well as general risk management space, my background primarily was in international relations and economics. And anytime people that have that sort of background out of university, they're always considering how do they have the best impact in the international community and how can they directly support whether it be objectives on the commercial side with international business or have a broader impact on society. They oftentimes turn to investigative firms like Kroll to better service communities and societies and leverage their academic background to do that.
Okay, so tell us about Kroll and what you do there. Who are your clients and what's the set you apart in today's industry?
Sure. So Kroll is a global risk and financial advisory firm. We have 6,500 or so professionals globally in 70 different offices across the world. We specialize in, of course, valuations, transactions, and risk. I represent our investigations, diligence, compliance practice. I'm a regional managing director responsible for our integrity due diligence business. And we primarily serve clients ranging from governments, private clients, multinational corporations, financial institutions, as well as citizenship by investment units, like those here at CIS26. Right. And we primarily support them with their biggest challenges in the world. We're frequently recognized by our clients for being the ones always to call when they have the most urgent, complex issues, whether it be related to a complex transaction, a security issue, or a difficult decision around a specific transaction or a risk that is inherent to their own business.
Understood. So investment migration is at a real inflection point. How is Kroll actively shaping the industry for the better, whether through innovation, client access, policy engagement, anything?
Absolutely. So one of the key aspects of the change in the investment migration space, particularly in the Eastern Caribbean, is ensuring that due diligence providers like Kroll are in alignment with regulations and they're properly licensed and they have auditability and defensibility, and they meet the highest standards that are expected by the regulator. That sort of high level of expectation is always something that Kroll has exceeded in every industry, and in particular the investment migration space. We, of course, are open and have always been in consultation with governments on where their biggest challenges are, not only with due diligence providers, but with their broader subcontractor space, whether it come from their procurement processes or the general process in which they conduct and review due diligence. So in addition to providing due diligence reports as part of application processes, we also support the CIUs and CIPs with training, whether it be jurisdiction-specific training. Part of one of the benefits of being with a global platform that is Kroll is that we have offices in so many different countries and we have very different experts in many different fields that if CIUs are struggling with either a specific country because they have new applicant flow from that country and they maybe don't have as much experience with that new jurisdiction. We have experts that know the ins and outs of whether it be document retrieval, the law, how regulation and law enforcement works in that country. And in addition, whether it be from BSA or AML related requirements, we have experts that are former regulators that we bring in to directly consult with current regulators in this space to help them expand their program and in an ethical way that they are seeking to ultimately accomplish.
And ethical is the key word. So as a leader in this space, what do you see as the single most pressing issue facing the investment migration industry right now? And how would you approach solving that?
So I know that maybe not something that many people in this space feel like they could control of, but it's important to still understand the geopolitical risk that's impacting the investment migration industry. As we, of course, know, we're in a very volatile time right now in international politics as well as the international economy. Anytime there's volatility like this, there, of course, are opportunities, including opportunities for these programs. But there, of course, are risks. And the key message that I've heard as a takeaway from many of the CIU unit heads and as well as chairmen and even prime ministers and how they are thinking about their own investment migration programs is to not only ensure that they are communicating with important stakeholders, both locally and internationally, but that they're also keeping in mind the broader community that they are a part of and how they are all representatives of the investment migration space, and in particular the Eastern Caribbean investment migration space, to ensure that not everyone necessarily needs to walk in lockstep, but ensuring that there's communications around best practices and that there's general visibility on not necessarily encouraging competition within this space, but ensuring that there are complementary skill sets and opportunities for the application space.
Definitely. What brings you the most optimism about where the industry is headed?
So my biggest optimism is particularly around the direction that regulation is moving. I know that there is a common saying within the broader financial crime space that regulation typically moves in two different directions. Either there's regression or progression. We're very much in a progressive state, particularly in investment migration, where greater trust is building internationally with these programs, in large part due to many, many years of development on the compliance side as well as the due diligence and vetting side, where these programs are much stricter and much more rigorous today, and particularly in the last several years, than maybe they were in the past, that the narrative is beginning to shift for many of these programs on the benefits that they provide directly to their nations, and in addition to the protections they provide to the broader international financial community, in ensuring that proper due diligence is being conducted on inflows of capital to these countries that are in great need for not only for development, particularly infrastructure development in these nations, but also for climate change prevention. That is very essential to the long-term economic sustainability of these countries.
It definitely is. So final question. What has been the most memorable part of CIS26, or what are you looking forward to before it's over?
So the communication in terms of being able to sit down with so many key stakeholders in this space and trade ideas and catch up on the latest and not only technology, but on emerging threats to our community. Yeah. In addition to that, the platform itself really provides an opportunity to get to know many people that you otherwise wouldn't in other conferences, and really spend time getting into the details of where you can work better with other partners in the space.